Hey guys, so I've literally recorded this video like 20 times. So today is hopefully the final time that I'll be recording it. So I'm making this video for all of my friends and family who are curious about my life with a halo, what it is, why I'm in it, all of those questions, as well as for those of you who are watching this video because you're in a halo or you're gonna be in a halo soon. So I'm gonna try to pack as much information as I can into this video, but I'm also planning on making a lot of other smaller videos explaining specific things about my daily life and what I have found to work best for me. So I was in a car accident with my husband, and the car accident caused me to have a broken vertebrae as well as a fractured sternum. My neck vertebrae that was fractured was actually my C2, which it's part of your cervical spine, and it's the second vertebra down from my skull. We were pushed off of the road by another car, and so we were driving, the car pushed us off the road, we went down into a ditch. So when we were finally stopped, I have never been in a car accident. So everything happened so fast. The accident itself, it just like it plays in your mind so quickly when you're remembering the accident. And it was just an instant, like boom, we're on the road, boom, we're off of the road. And I was assessing myself. I remember thinking, am I alive? Okay, yes, I'm alive. Is there blood? No, there's no blood. Can I move my body? I couldn't. So my hands were kind of out in front of me. And I remember trying to move my fingers and I could not move my fingers. And so I remember just praying, God, please let me move my fingers. I really want to get out of the car. And so shortly after that, I was able to move my hands. So I unbuckled my seatbelt and went to open the door. It was locked and it felt like it was jammed. So I remember turning around, looking in the back seat, seeing if there was another exit for me that way, because I'm a little claustrophobic. So the halo's been great. But anyway, I just wanted to get out of the car. So I went to open the door, wouldn't open, and a few minutes later, there's a man who walked up. He did open the door for me, hesitated on helping me get out because I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to move after a car accident, but he did help me get out, and I actually walked from the car over to a gravel area to lay down flat because my neck was hurting, my chest was hurting, felt kind of like I had whiplash, and I was having pain on my chest from the seatbelt. And so I went and laid down, and then I waited there for the ambulance to come. Seemed like a million years before the ambulance came, but finally came. They put a neck collar, they asked me what was wrong. They put a neck collar on me right away and took my vitals, and once they felt like I was fine, they moved on to the other victims. They took all three of us in the ambulance to the hospital, and I just remember thinking, this is not like what it's supposed to be like. Aren't they supposed to be giving me oxygen or like evaluating me, talking to me, using machines to check me? But it wasn't like that at all. It was just me laying on the whatever stretcher and waiting to get to the hospital. So I do remember very specifically telling them, why are we not leaving when we were at the accident site? And they said, we have to check everybody. And I was like, no, we need to go to the hospital. Like, leave them, take me, come back and get them later. They're fine. I don't know what's wrong with me. Which is really selfish. So you guys should definitely pray for me and my selfishness. But anyways, I also in the ambulance just kind of felt like I kept asking them, like, can you check my heart again? I kept asking for the monitor, the pulse ox monitor for my finger. Like, hello people, I've seen doctor shows, okay? I know what's supposed to happen. It's not happening. When we got there to the hospital, we were waiting for them to evaluate us, and so I was just parked kind of in a hallway for like 20 to 30 minutes, I think. I'm not really sure exactly how long, but that also felt like it was taking a long time. And I started shaking a little bit. They had put a warming blanket on me on the way to the hospital, but once we got there, all of my adrenaline and everything, I just kind of started shaking, and that kind of bothered me because no one was checking on me. But Donnie was an awesome husband, and he asked them to keep bringing me the pulse ox so that way I could check my heartbeat. But anyway, so that was kind of us getting to the hospital. Then they did all of the scans. They did a CT scan, an x-ray, and they kind of checked everything. They sent me up to see a neurologist, and he asked me if I could move my hands and my feet. That was their biggest concern initially, and thank God I was able to. So besides that first instant at the beginning of the accident, which I'm not really sure what that's attributed to because nobody could tell me, so if you know, let me know why that happened. But nobody could really explain that to me, but I didn't have any more. My husband was released and I was admitted, and I remember the doctor coming to see me the following morning to let me know that I did have a broken neck, which was very shocking at first. And they said, you know, it's really small, it's nothing to be worried about. We're either going to give you a surgery or give you a brace. We're going to talk about it and let you know. So at that point I was like, okay, no big deal. And I actually wasn't in a lot of pain, so that was good news. I was having some pain, and they ended up giving me something for anxiety because I kept asking them to check my oxygen and my pulse. So they gave me something for anxiety. It's a surprise. I don't know what it was. They just put it under my tongue, but it didn't work. So I did sleep. And so yeah, the following day they kind of got me all settled in. I was still waiting for a hospital room, so I was in a hallway. And they had to like cut my clothes off of me, put me in a hospital gown, give me a catheter, all those fun things that come along with being hospitalized and bedridden, because I could not move. I still had the same neck collar on, and I continued to have the same neck collar on for 6 days. It literally smelled like a dead animal when they took it off of me. But anyway, I had the neck collar already, and that was kind of how I stayed laying flat. They would raise me up a little bit, no higher than 30% incline. And that is how I lived the first 6 days in the hospital before they ordered this and were able to install it. So they ended up coming back and telling me that for my particular fracture and with everything that they had looked at, that it was going to be best for me to get the halo, the surgical halo, which is what I have, and that it would help to stabilize my neck while it was healing, and that I would have to wear it for 3 months, and that it would have the best outcome for me. So I was really happy about that, because the alternative would have been surgery or laying in the bed for 12 weeks. And I felt like this was also the best option. I did not want to have surgery. I did not want to have my bones fused together. And this, I felt like, was the most natural option. It doesn't really look like it, but it is. So the way that this works is there are 4 surgical pins, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and they hold my head in place. They're screwed into my skull, not very deep, and they hold my head in place so that my cervical spine is staying still. So most people do wear it for 8 to 12 weeks. I am going to have mine on for 12 weeks. I'm actually coming to the end. I have 3 more weeks left before I get my final CT scan, and if everything looks good on that, then they're going to take this off. So anyway, that's basically what the halo is. There's also a vest. You can't really see it, but the vest comes down all the way to about my belly button, and it just, you know, I can turn my body. I cannot turn my head. I cannot take this off to sleep. People ask me that almost every day. It stays on the whole time. So I'm not allowed to shower. I'm not allowed to get in a bath. I have to take sponge baths. I actually have to go have somebody wash my hair for me because it's very hard to do it at home. And that's kind of what the halo is. So initially, once it was put on, my neck was very sore. So they had me sit up, and it was very, very painful on my neck. So painful. But now that I've, you know, moved forward, I have 0 pain now. I continued to stay in the hospital for 1 more week. They had to do some adjustments. So once it was all screwed in, they had to tighten the bolts and move these things in order to tilt my head backwards just a little bit. You can't really tell right now, but my head is tilted up a little bit. So once that was all complete, they did a final scan, they released me, and I was able to come home. And so as soon as I got home, I had a lot of questions, like how to wash my hair, how to sleep, how to get dressed, what type of clothes to wear, all of these questions that I didn't really have any answers to. So I turned to the internet and to YouTube to try to find them. And unfortunately, I really could not find that much information. So I decided very early on that I wanted to make videos to put on YouTube to help people. And I'm getting a really late start, but that's okay because now I've lived through more, so I can explain more about my journey with the halo. But yeah, so that's basically the short story of everything. And there are more details, and if you have more questions, just ask them. I should say my husband is doing well. He is still having some memory issues, and he got stitches on his arm for the cut that he had, and that's healing really well. But he just recently found out that during the accident he did tear his tricep muscle. So he might have to have surgery for that. We're not sure yet, but overall he has recovered really well, and he was able to take a lot of time off to help out with me. So that's been really good because one of the things that they did tell me in the hospital was that I really needed to take it easy. The amount of time that I rested would determine how quickly everything healed. So they didn't want me cleaning, cooking, obviously not driving. I can't turn my head, so can't drive, and not doing too much activity and just resting. And so it was really nice. My mom was here in the beginning, and my husband was off work, as well as our church really came around us and helped us with so many different things, from taking kids to and from different activities, as well as preparing meals for us, helping clean, those sorts of things. So we were really blessed by our church family here, and that really helped a lot. So anyway, I'm going to be making a lot more videos detailing specific things. Definitely check those out, and like I said, if you have any more questions, just let me know. And before I finish this video, I just want to give a little bit of encouragement. I've had a lot of people say to me, you know, wow, Nicole, you've just been so positive through this experience. And I have really thought about it so much, like, am I being positive? I don't really feel like I'm being positive, but I just realized that a lot of times in the world that we live in, people are very negative, and they take their situation and they think, oh, this is terrible. And there's so many things that could be worse, obviously. So I'm not trying to downplay that. And it's okay for you to be sad or discouraged, obviously. But in this situation, I just felt like it could have been worse, you know? And I'm just so grateful that God preserved our lives and that we're healing. And I'm just so thankful for that it's really hard for me to be negative about it. Obviously, the halo's not the best thing in the world, but at the same time, I'm so happy that somebody invented it, because otherwise I could be laying on a hospital bed, or I could have had my bones fused together. So whatever you're going through, whatever situation you're in right now, maybe it's not that you're in a halo, maybe it's something different. I just encourage you to be positive about it, and just to really remember that the things that you say and your attitude about your situation really just changes everything about how you're feeling mentally and emotionally. So just try to be optimistic, and just remember that it's only temporary. Like, no matter what you're going through, it's only temporary, and it's going to be over sooner than later, and it'll just be a memory, something in your past. So anyways, check back for more videos later, and thank you guys for watching this.